You know, the reason you called in is we want to chat about your music. Hey, it's Brendan Janetti.
And I'm Devin O'Haron.
And you are listening to Music You're Missing.
And we're bringing you GRAE.
GRAE is dropping a brand new freaking single tomorrow. It is called Like You. So we are so stoked to get her on the line and talk about how she's feeling.
I'm so excited. I'm a big fan, and I've been listening to her for a while.
But first, you listened to podcasts before. We got some things to plug. So basically, this is called Music You're Missing. We interview artists that we think deserve more media attention. Both Devin and I worked in the music industry. Devin toured everywhere.
Yeah.
And I worked in radio, record label, you name it. And since then, we've decided to devote a lot of our time to this, where we interview these artists. And then we also put them on a coinciding Spotify playlist called what, Devin?
Music You're Missing.
And who is on the cover of Music You're Missing?
GRAE is on the cover, and her new single is going to be on the very top of it.
Number 1, baby. And if you like what you hear, you can find us on Instagram at Music You're Missing.
And you can find GRAE on Instagram at Your Girl GRAE.
Enough about us. Let's hear directly from the source how she's feeling. Let's get GRAE on the line. How's it going?
Good. How are you guys?
We're doing well. We had a little bit of trickery getting ready as we do every single episode.
Nothing ever worked. Like me and Brendan just can't figure out our lives ever. So
I feel like you have to prepare for that sometimes with technology nowadays, don't you? It's
oh,
just
for sure.
Like a thing. Yeah, my Wi-Fi is like super dodgy all the time, so it's like super sketch when I do stuff like that.
Isn't that so frustrating? These past few days, my Wi-Fi has been really awful, and I definitely pay for like the most expensive Wi-Fi you can have. I'm like, it's 2021. I feel like I should be able to access the Wi-Fi whenever I want.
I totally agree. No, I completely agree. Wi-Fi can be ridiculously expensive, and then when you're like not getting the best of it, it's extremely frustrating.
Yeah, and then I'll get like notifications from my cell phone plan too, being like, you are extremely over your data. I'm like, well, I pay for Wi-Fi. I shouldn't have to be over my data.
You know what frustrates me about that is that I have like unlimited data, but it's not actually unlimited because like you get to like a certain gig, right? Like 25 or 30, and then it's like, oh, you're over, we'll just slow it down. And I'm like, that's not unlimited data then. It's just so weird. First world problem, not really, but like, yeah, it's just such a like frustrating thing.
No, for sure. That's actually exactly what I was saying. What I was saying that happened to me. I have unlimited data too, but then it's like, no, not today. You went over 50 gigabytes, so we're actually going to slow it down, which is like, how do you even have the option to do that?
Yeah.
Anyways, bandwidth discord aside.
Like me and Brendan also can't ever stay on topic, so ignore the derailed comments and everything that we do.
No worries, I'm like that too.
Perfect. So
are you in Toronto right now?
I am, yeah. It's been raining all day, thunderstorms and stuff. It's probably a factor as to why the Wi-Fi is glitchy, but yeah, I'm in Toronto, yeah.
I wish it was raining. It has been 95 degrees here all day, and it's
Where
like
are you based?
we're located in Boston, and it's a record-breaking June, so it's been hot as balls, like for the whole month. It's disgusting. You can't even go outside without like sweating.
That's crazy. It's been like reaching the 30s here, so like, you know, today was extremely hot. I know in Vancouver it's been like 40 something, and it's been very hot there. So, yeah, really hot.
For a minute, I was thinking, wait,
Did you
you're
think
talking
cold
in Celsius,
40? Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah, yes,
Okay.
yes. Sorry, yes.
No, I was just like, wait a minute, that's not warm, but I get it now. So speaking of music, you know, the reason you called in is we want to chat about your music. I think one of the first things that I wanted to ask you about is just kind of your like sonic evolution, as well as like, it seems almost like a personal evolution that also resonates to your music. When you dropped New Girl, was that
2019?
Yeah.
Yes, I did. Yeah, it's been a bit of a roller coaster of, you know, like my music and stuff in terms of like, I guess the genre. So yeah, there's definitely been a lot of ups and downs in terms of that.
I think you said that you're a completely different person now writing versus then. I'm just wondering, like, what has changed and what, like, for the better? What are you excited about now with your new music?
I think with the new music, it's genuinely just the fact that it's the truest to me. I think as an artist, I went through this evolution because when New Girl came out, you know, I wrote some of that when I was like 19, and like I didn't know who I was, and I was relying a lot on the producer to kind of create the sound for me rather than me being like, these are my influences and this is what I want to be. It was like, hey, I have some lyrics on a piece of paper, do what you want with it. And he was like, okay, and then put like, you know, R&B hip hop beats like behind it, and like it was very like UK influence because I, you know, my producer was from the UK, and like just kind of like a R&B, like I know he used like Dr. Dre as a lot of the influence, and I was like, that's cool, but like I don't really listen to that type of music. And so, you know, I think once I kind of started exploring with different producers after I had met my manager and kind of her connections, you know, they were just like, what do you want? Like, what do you want? Because they were like, we're not going to sit here and create your sound for you. Like, that's not it, you know? They're not just going to cook up a beat and I write to it, you know? It became much more personal. And so I had to sit there and I was like, well, what do I want? And so the first half of, like, my EP, Permanent Maniac, was me, like, figuring it out. And then Permanent Maniac itself came out, and 2725 came out, and like that to me was, you know, the sound I wanted. And I always explain that as like a light bulb moment, you know, because I'm so inspired by The Cure, and I wanted to like make music like that.
It's so funny just because you're saying that Dr. Dre and that your first EP was so not you, because any interview or anything that you read about you, it's all 80s new wave is like your inspiration. Yeah. And it just couldn't be any farther than that.
Yeah. You know, and I experienced that as well, almost kind of being a bit like anxious about the whole thing, because I had a conversation, you know, with my manager about it, of like, you know, this is very different from your first EP, and like, you know, at some point you need to kind of find your own sound and stick with that sound and make it your own and stuff. And so I was anxious that like people were gonna think I was like, I don't know, fake in a way, or just like doing what was popular at the time, or like, you know, I was kind of worried about that, but I don't think anyone's perceived it that way. I know that a lot of people that personally like know me know that my influences lie in like 80s new wave and stuff like that, and 70s rock and more classic stuff. So it was definitely an organic transition for me, but I was kind of nervous about what the outside perception of it was gonna be, you know.
And so, like, if you could go back and tell your 19-year-old self this, do you think you would have changed the EP, or do you think you would have just kept it the way it was and then taken that as a learning experience?
You know what? The entire thing was an immense learning experience. Like, it was a journey, and I think that allowed me to look at something and realize that it's not what I wanted. And I think that can be a valuable lesson as well, like figuring out what you don't want so you can figure out what you do want. And because of that experience, I was able to, you know, transition into the artist I am today, because it gave me kind of the push to like put my foot down and try harder for what it was that I really wanted to put out there. So I think that there was a lot to learn from it, and I'm grateful for it, I think. Yeah.
I think that's really interesting because, I mean, first I just want to say the stuff previous to now, it's not bad by any means.
No, like, definitely not.
You still produce like great, you know, work that still was authentic to you at some point. But I think now, you know, it really comes off as super organic and authentic, especially I was rewatching the Permanent Maniac music video, and I was just like, this is such a great trailer for you as an artist. Like, if I needed like a quick grab of like who is GRAE, I would want that, because it really hits kind of your like sound as well as your visual aesthetics and branding, and then also like your obsession with The Cure. I think it really like allows your sense of humor to shine through.
Yeah, it was so funny because you know what? The people that picked up on that were like 50 and 60-year-olds. Like it was like my like demographic of the people that listened to me like really went to like older people when Permanent Maniac came. And it was interesting because I was like a part of like this Cure fan group. So embarrassing. I was a part of this Cure fan group and I like posted it there and it got like 1,000 likes or something, but all the people in that group are literally like my parents' age and they were just like, wow, like I caught all the Cure references, but I don't think anyone aside from that really did, you know? So to me it was super cool, but like to everyone else they were like, who is she singing about?
You have a really wide demographic then.
Yeah, right?
And target market, if you can reach all those people.
Totally.
I think if we fast forward to your more recent releases, which is kind of cool because you kind of were hinting on this evolution of experiencing, especially over COVID where you aren't necessarily able to play out. Now you have some new music that's a bit more like positive and uplifting, but it also kind of still has that melancholic undertone. I was wondering, is that intentional for you or is that just kind of how it comes out?
So are you referring to like soft and spinning?
Exactly, yeah, soft and spinning.
Because like I'm still, since like nothing's out yet in an EP or album form, I'm always like, well, it could have been like a Permanent Maniac. That's still new to me, like the release. But in terms of like the new releases, yeah, like, you know what? Once again, it's just an evolution. Like, it's funny because I never find anything to be intentional. Like, I don't sit there and I'm like, okay, like, what is the intention behind this or whatever. It's more just, like, the evolution of where I am musically in the moment and what my influences are in the moment. And, like, the feel of what I want, and then my producer will be like, okay, like a more soft song or a more upbeat song or a more, and that's kind of how we work in terms of like the production. So yeah, it wasn't intentional, but like it's definitely just like organic, the evolution of it. Yeah.
I think lyrically, soft is such a great idea for a song because I think it's something that so many people experience. Like you are finally in love or like you finally found someone, but that doesn't mean like you're like were okay before and it's like now a thing. I don't know, it's just a very interesting idea that I think not a lot of people have tapped into musically.
Yeah, so I said this in a past interview that I felt weird releasing Soft because it was so happy in a time of like a pandemic that's so like not happy. And I was like, does anyone want a love song right now? Like, do people actually want to listen to this? But I felt like it was a bit refreshing in a way. And like, that song, like I still feel that way about the person that I'm with. And so it's like I always say that songs are like little time capsules of like how you felt in that moment. And so yeah, I quite like that song as well. I think it was a good first release for the new material, Yeah.
Is that kind of how sonically the rest of the new material is going to sound? Is it still going to have that like uplifty, dreamy kind of vibe?
Well, my newest single that's coming out is actually so sad.
I know, we saw the TikToks on it and I was like, I like how you were like describing it as the summer sad girl song or whatever you were calling it.
Yeah, I think, I really, really struggle staying the same. And it annoys me about myself. Like, I can't stick to one thing. So I feel like my music, sonically and stuff, it's definitely all gonna tie together. But in terms of like concepts and kind of like the vibes and such, like it'll be up and down. Like there'll be the sad songs and then the happy songs and the love songs and this and that. But yeah, so it's so funny. You're like, are they all gonna be happy? I'm like, well, my song tomorrow's depressing. So.
Yeah, I mean that's just kind of like how life works, though. Like if, like you said, it's a time capsule. I can't imagine anyone is so happy all the time that their whole record's just happy bangers.
Well, this is the thing because I actually didn't want to release Like You because I felt that I felt like I had kind of like a job to like be happy all the time or something, or just like let people see that like I'm okay all the time and like I'm happy, and like, you know, the illusion of just being like I'm great like 24/7, you know. And I thought that Like You was way too vulnerable to release, because it's about how I like didn't like myself, and like how could I have been in a relationship or loved someone else if I didn't like myself. So I was like, no, for months I was like, nope, I don't like it. I don't like the production. Nope, the lyrics are shit. And then am I allowed to swear?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, of course.
Oh my god. And then, you know, like a couple months ago, my manager texted me. She's like, "Do you really not like the song, or are you just afraid because it's vulnerable?" And I was like, "I'm afraid because it's vulnerable." I love the song, you know. So, yeah. I'm excited for it.
And do you still feel vulnerable because it's getting released tomorrow? Like, what are your emotions going into this day?
You know what? I definitely think that it's important to be real with people, and like I always try to like practice what I preach, and like I'm constantly saying that like social media is an illusion, so I don't want to contribute to that. And so I definitely think that it's important that people know that like there's no such thing as being like happy and linear all the time. Like life is filled with ups and downs. And so I think that this song will be a great emotional release for me, you know, to just get it out. And also maybe, you know, other people that listen to me can like look up to it in a way and kind of like understand that, you know, their ups and downs are okay too, and that sometimes we go through periods where we don't necessarily like ourselves, and like that's okay, but you can get back on track to loving yourself and, you know, all that stuff. Because I'm in a good place now. When I wrote it, I wasn't, but I'm in a good place now, so it's possible.
But now you can look back on it and be like, I'm so much better, and this isn't me anymore.
Yeah, that, you know, when I had listened to the mastered demo, I cried. I have a photo of me. There's just tears going all down me, because I was like so sad I ever felt that way. You know, because I would never want anyone to feel that way. And I don't know.
No, I mean, I think that general idea of like wanting to make sure that your relationship with yourself is okay before pursuing a relationship is really important. And I think just in my life, I see a lot of people who are like going through something, or maybe not are in the right headset, and then they pursue a relationship and it's toxic. I think you need to be at a good terms with yourself before you can take on another responsibility that's a person.
Yeah, yes, 100%. I could talk about that for hours. 100%.
But I guess we'll just have to listen to the song then to get your take on that.
Yes. Yes. Go stream the song.
Yeah, right. So with all of this new work, what does that mean? Like, are we getting a full project?
You're really giving us like Easter eggs here. What's going on?
Oh, sometimes I'm like, am I allowed to say? It's so weird. But yeah, no, I'm definitely working towards like a longer project, and I'm excited because it will, you know, I just had 2 EPs, so it'll be nice to work on something that's a bit more in depth, and like definitely has more, like we talked about, like it's all sonically like, you know, flows and all of that. So I'm excited for it. It's definitely been a really interesting journey of self-discovery, not only as a artist but as a person. So yeah,
that's really exciting to just be on the precipice of new stuff, especially now where you can play it out. You've of course have utilized TikTok to amass a new audience as well. So I just think it's a very cool time for you, and I'm excited to see what's in store. Is there going to be a tour or any shows that you know of?
Yeah, not yet. I mean, I would absolutely love to tour. That's like a dream of mine, because I've never done it. To be honest, like before COVID hit, I think I had only done 4 shows. So it's been a long time since I've performed live, and I'm definitely itching to get back. But yeah.
That's so cool. Are you like, how do you even prepare for that? I feel like it's so different now because, you know, you were at such a beginning stage, but to take this time to really like hone in on who you are as an artist, but then also not be able to perform is kind of a unique thing. Like you have found your sound, but you might not know like your stage presence yet.
Right. So funny enough, during this entire time, I've actually like been like upping my guitar chops and my singing lessons
nice.
and like stuff like that because I love performing live. And like in November I did a like live performance videos that we pre-taped and we posted them and stuff just so like people could see me live again. And that was like a moment for me where I kind of realized what I am capable of on stage. And ever since then, I've just been like working on it like nonstop. So I'm very excited. Like performing and stuff is just so fun to me. I just find it so like it's the best part about music. And
Of course.
During this time and stuff, I've definitely social media is very important when you're an artist nowadays because it's kind of how you get found or like how people find your music. And so, I've definitely spent a lot of my time working on that and it's paid off. It's had its days where it's like really paid off and like TikToks have turned into actual streams, which is like, what you want. But at the end of the day, like nothing beats performing live. Like it just there's nothing that beats it. So I'm psyched.
Yeah, it's such a different connection that you make as well. Like if someone's exposed to you while you're up on stage versus a 30-second TikTok video.
And you know what? The thing about TikToks is that you see it and you scroll and there's another one. Like there's no lasting impact. And that's the thing that I love about live music is like I used to go through like post-concert depression. Like I remember after I saw Tame Impala, I was like not okay for like 2 weeks.
Wait, which tour?
They're like the last one
Yeah.
the last one that they were here in Toronto for. I guess that would have been like 2 summers ago. And like my stepmom has this photo of me. I was just like on our balcony and I just looked miserable. And she's like, oh, I'm like, I just want to be front row at Tame Impala again. So that lasting impact, like especially as an artist, watching other artists is like, whoa, because it just motivates you to a whole other level. I can't like explain it. It's just so good. Yeah.
And I feel like that if you strive to get the reaction that you had after that concert, like you want someone to be like yourself.
That's what I mean when like there's this motivation now to like, okay, like I gotta work so I can do that one day, and so I definitely think that social media has its perks, but like there's no way that it will ever completely take over the industry, like in the way in which like people need this like live music. It's like what we all want to do, so yeah.
That brings up a good question, actually, because obviously just from reading about you and following you, we know about your 80s influence and new wave and whatnot. I'm wondering what modern day artists do you like to listen to and maybe take inspiration from?
I always struggle at this question.
You don't even have to take inspiration from them, just anyone you like.
Well, I actually love Noah Cyrus. Like,
she's my favorite person in the entire world.
Right? Like her album, what was it? The End of Everything or something? I burnt that out. Like I just listened to it on repeat, and I love her, like the artist her. Tame Impala, obviously. The Marias are super cool. Biba Doobie, I love her. Clairo, so there's definitely modern day artists that I would love to either open for or like I listen to their music and I'm like, oh yeah, like there's so much inspiration to be had there. And so yeah, there's definitely modern day artists for sure.
That's really cool. Noah Cyrus is really good. She's like
good.
We've had to do like a bunch of iHeart stuff with her. And so when I was younger, I had to wrangle her. And she was like my favorite person in the entire world. And I'm just standing outside of her dressing room. And she goes out. She's with like her label rep or whatever. And she was like, how's my outfit look? Like asking me. And I'm like, holy shit, you're not asking me. Like, she was like, is this cute? Or do I need to take off like the underneath? And I was like, I just can't believe you're actually like asking me this. I have no fashion taste whatsoever,
Yeah.
but like you're Noah Cyrus, and she was just the friendliest person I've ever
Yeah.
encountered.
Wow, that's so cool. Yeah, I love her music. It's just it's so raw and like unique, I find nowadays, and just emotional, super emotional.
And I like how she really is like herself. Like
Yeah.
she's
She
making
really
her own
is.
career, which I enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I didn't realize we were going on Noah Cyrus dialogue, but I think it is
I
kind of
don't-
cool. Like an artist like her, though, is like, it's so easy to push her as Miley Cyrus's sister, but I don't
Yeah.
think they really ever did that.
No, I feel like they
No.
never did that.
No, I don't think so. Like, it would be hard though, because I mean, I don't know Noah personally. It's just from what I read, is that she felt really compared to Miley, right? So that would be super hard. But I totally, like, they're completely different artists to me.
Oh,
And
yeah.
they're great and amazing in their own way, you know? So,
For sure. Well, we like to wrap up every interview with this final question, and it's, what are your goals for? I don't know. I think that this is the part that we always make up.
We
Sometimes
need
it's
to
a year.
word it better.
Yeah. What are some of your immediate future goals? It can be personal. It can be music related.
okay, so my like career goal is to meet and do a song with Robert Smith, and I see this in every interview because it's like a manifestation technique for me. But you know, like right now in this moment, I just want to tour. Like I've never done it. That is a goal for me. Also, just like I always say with my music and such, I just really want it to reach its target audience and for people to, you know, feel something with it and for
Yeah.
my music to get to as many people as possible. And so, you know, that's obviously a goal of mine, is to reach, you know, whoever needs to hear it. And yeah, opening for like a super cool artist would be a goal too. There's so many, you know, there's so many.
How hard have you tried to get that song in front of him? Because I'm just saying, I could do some creeping, find his manager, send it over.
I've tried. I have
feel like
tried.
We should just like send out a press release.
yeah, we need to do something. Like I feel like it's hard because I feel like TikTok isn't necessarily his.
Scene.
Yeah, TikTok is definitely not his scene, but that's how things are getting blown up right
Yeah.
now is TikTok. So we need like,
So-
does he have a daughter, child? I don't know.
No, he has no kids because he always said that he didn't want to bring children on this planet because I don't think he himself really likes this planet. He's kind of depressing. Okay.
It's okay.
But it's so weird. I like found his like band members like niece or something on Instagram, and she has like no followers, but she like posts photos with them all the time, and I'm like, girl, I didn't slide into her DMs because that's just so creepy. But honestly, like I've tried. I just don't know what else to do. That's why in every interview I'm like, Robert Smith, just in case one person hears it and they're like, oh, I know who to send this to. But I tried. Like even like Billboard or something came out with an article that was like, oh, GRAE's song to Robert Smith, and I remember thinking like, okay, this has to like get somewhere. No, he still hasn't called me. But like he did like a song with churches. Did you see that?
No.
I
He
didn't
just
see
came
that.
out with a song like, you know, with churches, and like he did an interview with Apple Music where he was just like, yeah, you know, during COVID and stuff, like things have been slow, and so like I've been doing some collabs, and I was just thinking like, how do I get this man?
Me.
That was like the perfect timing.
I know. But yeah.
Maybe
All right, well,
Facebook.
I think
like,
that's
I
my
don't
new
know.
goal. Honestly, here's a hack, and I don't promote this to anyone listening, but one time I found, I won't even say who because I don't want them to search, but I found a ring of celebrities on Venmo back in the day when I was like interning at Sony.
You're creepy as all
So
hell.
Venmo, next up, Venmo. Honestly, request him. Don't even pay him. Request him. You know he's got the money. And then I think that'll be my personal project right now is to try to hunt him down for you.
Honestly, I'll take any help I can get. Like I think that he'd like the music. I mean, it's very inspired by him, so I'd hope he likes it.
Of course. Well, thank you so much for chatting with us. This has been such a blast. You're so fun to talk to.
Of course.
And we're
Thank
so
you
excited to hear
much.
the new track tomorrow.
I know.
Oh yeah, I'm excited for it to be released. But thank you so much for having me.
Of
course.
course. Thank you. And then you'll be the cover
Oh, yeah.
of the Music You're Missing playlist, and the new track will be on the top.
Yeah.
Yay! That's so awesome. I love
Woo.
it.
Okay, we'll let you go.
All right. Have a great night. Thank you.
Bye.
I love her so much, and I've been listening to her for a while, so I'm so excited for her single to drop tomorrow.
I'm definitely gonna stay up till like midnight and text you exactly at like 12:03 when I'm done listening.
No, the worst part is I know you will, because this man was texting me like, I love Soft, and I was like, what are you talking
I
about?
gave no so for context, her single is called Soft, and I gave no context to Devin. We weren't even talking about GRAE, and I was just like, I love Soft.
And I was like, that just sounds very gross. I was just like, ew, Brendan, please never say that to me again. But anyways, back to GRAE. I'm so excited for her to finally make a full project, whether it's an EP or an album, and then hopefully she gets on the road.
Yeah, I feel like she's in the next steps of her career, like right immediately. Once like the world is officially open, I feel like big things are coming for GRAE.
Yeah, because she has a lot of songs under her belt, and then with this new project or whatever it is, she's just gonna have more material to sing and use.
And I think she really kind of found her niche sonically, at least. And I think once you do that, that is when opportunity comes a knocking.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's definitely resonating with people. You can tell by the feedback that she's been receiving.
And also, just another thing, I feel like she was really well spoken. That always helps when you're talking to a stranger who literally you've never met.
She was literally so fun. Like she's
really
a person I would hang out with.
Definitely. And you could get some hair advice from her as well.
Yeah, because clearly I need it.
Also, for context, Devin's hair dye washed out in the shower.
Yeah, well, it wasn't supposed to last. It was just a test run, guys. I told you that.
See, I don't even know what that means. Like, could I do that then? Or no? 'Cause
No,
I
you have
black
dark hair.
That's rude.
You wouldn't even see it.
Okay, well, make sure you follow GRAE on Instagram and TikTok at Your Girl GRAE. Her brand new track, Like You, is streaming atop the Music You're Missing playlist right now. And of course, her face is on the freaking cover. So go check it out. Music You're Missing on Spotify. You can also follow us on Instagram. Where, Devin?
At Music You're Missing. Bye.